Thank you, Mrs. Neeta Ambani and Mr. Abhimanyu Basu, for that very warm introduction. And congratulations to the Dhirubhai Ambani International School's class of 2021. I am honored to join your teachers, families, and friends in celebrating you today. You have completed an important early chapter of your lives, and you've done it under extraordinarily difficult circumstances. Having lived through the pandemic, you have missed out on some of the traditional milestones of high school, and my heart goes out to you. Nonetheless, you've made it, and you're about to begin an exciting new chapter in life. As you make this transition, let me offer brief reflections on 3 words that I hope you will keep in mind as you embark on these coming years. We each have our personal quirks, and one of mine is that I'm unusually fond of alliteration. So I've chosen 3 words that begin with the letter E. They are endurance, exploration, and excellence. First, endurance. 5 years ago, I was fortunate to visit Antarctica. My father, who is in his 80s, was with us, and the trip was high on his bucket list. When he set foot on Antarctica, he had finally visited all 7 of the world's continents. A big deal for someone who had grown up in a small village in Punjab that he had only left when he first graduated high school. The trip marked the same achievement for my wife, Monica, and I in our 50s, and for our daughters, now in their 20s, a sign of how the world is growing progressively smaller with each generation. I imagine traveling to space might serve as a similar moment for your generation. On the long voyage south, each of us read the book Endurance. It tells the story of Ernest Shackleton, who led an expedition to the South Pole in 1915. When his ship became trapped in the ice, Shackleton and 5 of the crew took a small open boat to try to summon help. After 16 days of one of the most daring navigational feats ever attempted, they reached civilization and brought rescuers back to save the rest of the crew. One lesson from the book I remember talking about with my family seems especially pertinent now. Even though we think of Shackleton's actions as a heroic act of leadership, he and his crew did not experience it that way in real time. For them, the ordeal was a day-by-day, hour-by-hour series of decisions. Each day they awoke, recognized that day's challenges, and dealt with them one by one. The pandemic has probably felt similar to you. A historic challenge, but one you've confronted one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, and perhaps one Netflix binge at a time. Endurance means getting through something difficult moment by moment, something your class knows all too well. Many people celebrate the quality of resilience, the ability to bounce back from adversity. But before you can bounce back from adversity, you need to get through it. And you can rarely do it alone. You need others to help, as does Shackleton to them, and I promise you, it will be even more meaningful to you. Next, let me talk about exploration. Whether you're going to the South Pole or anywhere else, it helps to have a route planned out. I imagine many of you have clear plans for your college years. I urge you to not get too wedded to these plans, to stay open to exploration, to being surprised, and perhaps to winding up somewhere altogether different. I myself am an example of someone whose path was only revealed through exploration. After high school, I was fortunate to be admitted to IIT Bombay. Yet, when I got there, I realized that, well, many of my classmates had found their life's purpose. I wasn't sure I was meant to be an engineer. So I set about to explore other fields. I must have set the record for electives taken in that little known humanities and social science department of IIT Bombay. Even so, if someone had told me in college that I would one day become an academic, I would have died laughing, and my friends would have laughed even louder. I had spent all my time hoping that my antics in college wouldn't land me in the dean's office. Who would have thought that one day I myself would occupy a dean's office? Yet it has been an enormously gratifying experience and a completely different path than the one I'd anticipated on my high school graduation day. So during your years in college, take time to explore, try new things, meet people who aren't like you, read books that aren't on the syllabus, take courses that aren't required but just sound interesting. And remember that some of the world's most remarkable people changed their paths dramatically from what they'd mapped out as teenagers. Use the next 4 years to explore the world and find the path that's right for you. Finally, let me talk about excellence. You are graduating today because you met and exceeded the very high standards of the Dhirubhai Ambani International School. As you move forward, I urge you to develop an even higher sense of what constitutes good work. Focus not only on the external standard and requirements, the things that your teachers and parents expect, but on developing a more personal and deeper standard of excellence. I experienced this dilemma when I was finishing my doctoral dissertation at MIT many years ago. The deadline for submitting an approved dissertation was April 15th, and I turned mine in a few weeks in advance. A few days later, my advisor called me in. Nitin, he said, if you'd like me to approve your dissertation as it's written, I am happy to do so. It is certainly good enough. But he paused. I think you know it could be better. Go home tonight and think about it. Let me know if you want me to sign it or work on it some more. Taking more time would mean not participating in the MIT commencement ceremony and letting my parents know, who would be disappointed that they could not attend. And of course, rewriting my thesis yet one more time. After a painful 24 hours of reflection, I decided to take the extra time to try to make it better. When I was finally done 3 months later, my dissertation won a prize. More importantly, I learned that creating and striving for your own standard of excellence will serve you well in life. The people you admire most in the world, in sports, in the arts, in entrepreneurial pursuits, did not get where they are by meeting requirements. They held themselves to a higher standard of excellence. I hope you will do the same, as that's how you will truly honor those who love you the most and the wonderful start this fabulous school has given you. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak with you today. I offer my congratulations and best wishes on your graduation. I hope that you continue to show endurance, embrace exploration, and strive for excellence in college and beyond. In all your pursuits, I wish you the very best. And as my favorite superhero, Yoda, would say, may the force be with you.